What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be checking out a topic that has been requested many times in the comment section, and that is the Penlee Lifeboat Disaster. Honestly, don't know much of anything about this disaster, except I believe it was an RNLI rescue mission, and I think it happened sometime in the early 80s. But beyond that, have no idea what we're about to check out.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be a heavy subject, maybe?
Yes, this must be a very memorable moment in UK history because this is something I've seen over and over mentioned again and again in the comments section pretty much since I started the channel. You know, this is something I'm sure you've seen quite a bit as well mentioned. And so that's why we're checking this out today, guys. So enough rambling. Let's go and jump in here and check out the Penlee Lifeboat Disaster.
Lands in, Coast Guard, loaded. Lands in, Coast Guard.
Lands in?
Union Star,
Lands in.
Coast Guard.
Yeah.
So must... It's hard to hear.
Yes, we're off. Approximately now 8 miles east of Wolf Rock. Engines have stopped. And we are unable to get them started at the moment.
Oh, no.
In a bad storm.
25 years ago, a cargo ship called the Union Star suffered engine failure off the coast of Cornwall. In hurricane winds and 60-foot waves, the Penlee Lifeboat set forth to try and rescue the ship's crew.
Okay, so it was a cargo ship that couldn't get their engine started, and the Penlee Lifeboat was the one going out to rescue them.
Sounds like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, 60-foot waves.
60-foot waves.
That's like my worst nightmare.
That's horrifying. I don't know how large that would look like in person. That seems like it would be huge. I'm thinking of when we go to the beach and we see the waves are like 4 feet or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like 60 feet, that's got to be massive.
That's like a building.
Yeah, a multi-story building.
8 men, all volunteers, made the ultimate sacrifice in one of the greatest disasters in lifeboat history.
Wow.
I look back on it and I see those men on the rails and the efforts they did in the rocks, and you can't imagine the bravery of people like that.
They all
Despite the fact
died?
it's 25 years,
idea.
you know, she went out and she's still out. And there's that gap in people's lives and feelings that I think will never go away while the people are alive who experienced it.
You know, I used to long, as a journalist, that I would get a world exclusive. I got my wish, but it broke my heart.
We'll see.
In the far south of Cornwall, just a few miles from Land's End, lies a place called Mousehole. The events that happened here 25 years ago changed this small village forever, scarring the lives of those left behind. In 1981, Mousehole was a close-knit fishing community, at the heart of which was the Penlee Lifeboat.
This is RNLI, right? Yeah, kind of. It looks like the colors.
Based a mile from Mousehole off Penlee Point, she was called the Solomon Brown, and she was the pride and joy of the village.
Oh, this was a single lifeboat. The Penlee Lifeboat was an actual lifeboat, and I thought it may be a group or something. You know what I mean? I didn't know it was an actual single lifeboat that they were talking about. Wow.
The Solomon Brown was a wooden Watson-class lifeboat. We were quite pleased with her because she'd been recently refitted, and we thought that she was the state-of-the-art boat. But it was a class of boat that was stationed all around the country.
When I was growing up, the lifeboat was a big part of the village. Mousehole was just starting to become a tourist village. It's more, there's more locals living here, and it's just something I always wanted to do. I always wanted to be on the lifeboat. So I remember I used to run it when I was a child and help them scrub it down and things like that.
Most of the crew were born and bred in Mousehole. Many of them were fishermen, and they were all devoted volunteers.
All
They were
volunteers.
led by the coxswain Trevelyan Richards.
Yeah, RNLI.
you're still getting the family element in lifeboat crews, fathers, sons and grandsons and that sort of thing?
Yes, we got one or two of them here in our present crew.
Where do they come from in the main? What sort of profession are they?
Well, they're mostly fishermen and they come in the same village as what I do. And if they're not fishermen, they have connections with the sea. So I'm pretty lucky in a way here that I've got a crew like they are.
Trevelyan was a good coxswain. He was a character in his way and set in his ways. He was a fisherman all his life.
I think we ought to establish, right, although you are the coxswain, you've got a full-time job as a trawler skipper, haven't you?
That's right, yes. This is just a part-time job.
I think he was in the Home Guard when the war was on, but as a coxswain, he was an extremely nice man.
I think in every community, you always get a nucleus of people. They all stand above the rest in what they do because they can take any flack from anyone and they don't really care, you know, and they'll always march on what they think is true. I think Trevelyan's up in the top notch with them.
Nobody would contradict him, you know, he was the boss. He was a hell of a character as well, you know, he could be quite hard on them or he could be really, you know, I mean, they could be pretty wild at times. They knew how to have fun.
It's amazing they were all volunteers.
I know. And some from the same family.
Yeah. The night of the 19th of December, 1981, Mousehole was all set for Christmas.
Oh,
the village had a unique way of marking the festive season.
Some very cold waters.
Christmas is a big thing in Mousehole. And we have the local Christmas lights on every year, and it is a big celebration. We have a thing called Tom Bocock's Eve, which is the day before Christmas Eve. So it's the 23rd of December, when all the local fishermen and seamen get together and have like a great big party, if you like, really. It's good, and it was a big thing in Mousehole.
Everybody was drinking, laughing, joking. Darts had just started, I think. I'd just done the draw for that, and everyone was laughing and saying, cool, how'd you come to pick me out against so-and-so, like, you know?
Whilst people were enjoying themselves, outside the weather was gradually deteriorating.
Looks like a nice community.
Yeah. Very close-knit.
Yeah.
It had gone from a high wind to this extraordinarily screaming wild gale in a very, very short time. It had a sort of strange note in the wind, and I'm not making this up, it really did. It was a screaming sort of noise, which I've never heard of.
As the weather worsened, out at sea, the Union Star was struggling with engine failure.
Union Star, Falmouth Coast Guard, your position 8 miles east of Wolf Rock, is that correct, over? Yes, that is correct, and there are 8 people aboard, 8 people, I repeat. Roger, 8 persons on board. What type of vessel are you, please, Union Star? We are a coaster.
On duty that night to receive the calls was Colin Sturman.
Well, the Union Star told us just after 6 o'clock that he had an engine problem, which in itself is not unusual. We have ships call us with engine problems several times a week, even today. But he said that obviously the weather conditions were bad, and he was
60-foot waves, man.
That if
that's horrible.
He couldn't get his engine started, that they would be in difficulty.
The Union Star was on her maiden voyage, carrying fertilizer from Holland to Ireland.
Wow.
Maiden voyage, does that mean it's first
Yeah,
trip?
I believe so. And I'm just looking at this. I don't know if this is an actual image from that. I think it probably is. I don't know for sure, but so maiden voyage from Holland to Ireland, it sounded like it was going to say. But I was just wanting to stop at this and look at this and like, can you imagine being out in this?
Feeling of no.
I've never been in any kind of weather on the sea like this.
And I don't want to be.
Yeah, that seems like horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Island.
It was one of a fleet of coasters built by Union Transport who were having a very successful time. It was a good model because it was fit for work in coastal waters. It was very low profile, and so it could go up under the bridges of the big rivers in Europe. And they built 4 of them, actually, at about £1 million apiece. The Union Star was the latest one.
The skipper of this brand new boat was Henry Morton.
Happy-go-lucky type of guy. Very professional and straight down the line, really. He didn't take any messing off anybody. And he was, I don't know, a pleasant enough guy, really, I suppose. I spoke to him in the morning about 10 o'clock, and he said everything was going all right, and I asked him when he'd be round the corner. We call Land's End the corner. He said about just after tea, and then he'd be running away with the weather towards Arklow, and he seemed quite happy. And I asked him what the weather was like, and he told me that it was southerly about force 5, but it was forecast to deteriorate during the day, and he told me that the ship was handling it quite well. It was rolling a bit.
Yeah, we're just slowly drifting in towards the land at the moment. We're trying to start the engine, and if we get it underway and we get clear, we'll let him know. Lucky Union Star, lovely. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Worried how far the Union Star might be drifting, the Coast Guard sent one of their local officers to a lookout point, just along the coast from Mousehole.
I got a call from Falmouth to say that there's a vessel in trouble.
Yeah, it really is.
Near the Wolf. And would I start the radar up and put a radar plot on to positively identify the position? By the time I got up here and put a marker on him on the radar, he drifted some to the north.
Is that like a radar
the Union
house?
Star was heading straight towards the treacherous coastline.
Oh no.
If you come ashore on this coast, you've got very little chance of getting off.
That doesn't look good.
And you break up quite quickly.
Yeah.
A lot of rocks.
And a yacht coming ashore on any of these points, in even weather like this, and it'll go down very quickly.
And at night and so cold, especially, like it would just be even scarier.
In Mousehole, the Penlee Lifeboat was put on standby. Two of the crew members waiting for the call were Nigel Brockman and his son Neil.
My dad was a second or assistant mechanic, he was known as then, and he would have been in charge of the radios and the radar.
Was he the son that we just saw in the picture?
Or another son.
That's what I was wondering. I don't know.
What kind of equipment do you carry, Nigel? Well, we got radar, big master set which is the Woodson Clipper, and the Westminster's VHF. What range? What's your range?
Most people knew my father. He could never be serious about anything. He was always joking around. He was like the joker in the pack. If anything stupid was happening, he'd be in the middle doing it. You know, so. And I know I've never heard anyone say a bad word about him. Never. Everyone I've ever spoke to or come up to, people I don't even know come up to me and said they knew my father, which I like. You know, and they say how much they admired him and liked him.
A salvage tug was contacted to tow the stricken Union Star. But this would involve paying salvage costs as part of a contract called a Lloyd's Open Form. So Morton declined the offer.
Station calling Union Star. The Union Star, Falmouth Coast Guard, over. Oh, Falmouth Coast Guard, yes, Union Star. Yes, I gather you've had a word with the skipper of the salvage tug North Holland, over. Yes, I had a word with him. All he's interested in is the money at the moment.
When he was talking to the tug captain very early on, and the tug captain said, "Shall I come out?" And he said, "Yes, come out and stand by." And so the tug captain said, "Well, will you accept Lloyd's Open Form?" And he said, obviously, it's a bit early to make a commitment to do that.
News that the lifeboat might be needed began to spread throughout Mousehole. One of the youngest volunteers was merchant seaman Kevin Smith, who happened to be home for Christmas.
Loved the sea. The sea was in his blood. He always, to me, seemed to be like a free spirit. He'd go off to sea. You never quite know when he was coming back, and he'd come back and it was like a breath of fresh air blowing through the village.
Well, Kevin was my brother-in-law at the time. I sailed with Kevin many times when I was fishing. A great bloke, bit fun, anything goes really, and there's a massive zest for life.
6 years earlier, the Solomon Brown had taken part in the rescue of a sinking ship called the Lovett. Kevin was a crew member, even though he'd only been a teenager at the time.
Wait.
Oh my
Oh, wow.
Rescue, weren't you? Well, that was not very pleasant.
No, I was 75, I think.
And you were very young.
Yeah.
In fact, I believe you were too young to have been there officially.
So they told me so, yeah.
Kevin was very young, 15, 16.
Oh,
He
16?
his age to get on the boat at that point, and went out on the Lovett rescue and was pulling men out of the sea that were younger than him.
Oh my goodness.
And he was awarded on vellum.
So that was like his calling.
Very, very brave thing to have done.
Did you enjoy it? Well, you wouldn't enjoy it. It's a damn full question, but you'll remember it, I imagine.
Oh, yeah, I always remember it, yeah.
Very unpleasant.
Yeah, I always remember it.
I can't imagine being on a boat like that.
You know what's really cool though?
What?
That they have all this footage of them.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
It's amazing.
Yeah, back 80s, like early 80s, like that's incredible. You know, I mean, like you think back I think back then it was just unusual to have video of yourself. Like I don't have any video of me as a child. Nowadays the kids are gonna have like crazy amounts of videos.
Right,
like,
their whole lives, but
like back when I was growing up, and I know for people much older than me, you know, a VHS camcorder was quite expensive.
and they were huge.
Yeah, they
too,
were awkward to carry around and stuff. So, yeah, it is pretty
amazing. They have
that. Yeah.
The Penlee crew had to pull several dead bodies out of the water. They were all honoured by the RNLI for their role in the rescue.
Like most of the crew, wasn't a lot of speaking going on aboard the boat. I think it was all sort of choked with it, you know. But
I think what upset the crew most of all was when they took a youngster aboard, 16.
Yeah.
You know, I'll admit it was a bad job. Every 5 men losing lives of what we had. But when you get a youngster of 16, though, everything to look forward to, and life's not there like that, no?
There was a southerly wind gusting up to force 11, which is hurricane force.
Man.
Even the broken waves, when they hit the cliff, were some 30 foot in height.
What? Even once it hit the shore?
So I've never seen sea conditions as bad as that, and I've never seen them since.
We've had it, one of the fuel tanks is full of water. Well, at the moment we're trying to use our starboard tank, and we're hoping that one is okay. Could you give us the latest on the helicopter, please? It's just taxiing now. We should be airborne shortly.
Helicopter?
Okay, thank you very much. We'll be airborne shortly.
So were they going to take a helicopter out there to where the ship is?
I don't know. I guess sounds like it.
I was just thinking though, like 30-foot waves hitting the shoreline. Can you imagine the like
Swell,
mist,
like,
the splash
yeah.
of that? And then can you imagine? He said basically hurricane force winds.
With water in the fuel tank, it was now impossible to restart the engines of the Union Star, and a helicopter was needed.
That's why. So
the pilot who would communicate with Morton was Russell Smith, an American who was in England on a naval exchange program.
When we first set off, it was only about 30, 40 knots of wind, maybe a little more. Not all that bad, really.
30 to 40 knots.
But as we proceeded to the scene, the weather worsened significantly, very rapidly.
I thought it said 14 knots for some
and we
reason.
could tell this can be a full gale very shortly.
Rescue 80, yes, Union Star. Should be with you in 05 minutes, 05 minutes, okay, thank you very much.
That would be a good feeling knowing that help is on the way.
Yeah, very much so.
Helicopter Union Star, did you start off there? Union Star, rescue 80,
Initially, the position was given as 8 miles east of Wolf Rock, which put her about 6 miles south of Tatadoo Lighthouse. When we identified the correct position with the helicopter from the flare, she was only about 2.5 miles off the coast, which made things significantly different
Very close.
from a response point of view.
With the Union Star so close to shore, the Penlee lifeboat was asked to launch.
Can you imagine
Because the helicopter couldn't get to them,
I
maybe?
think so. Could you
The
imagine
launch
launching
crew
into
that
that?
Were Dudley Penrose and Raymond Pomeroy.
Crazy waves.
It was their job to launch the lifeboat safely.
That part would be scary alone. Like,
I'm looking at this like I have no experience with this type of thing at all. I'm wondering what are we looking at exactly?
it's like a chute for them to get.
I understand that, but
into the
I'm
ocean.
wondering is this the water supposed to come up when they release, or
I
is
don't
just?
think so. I think it just.
I wonder what the bottom of the boat is made of to the point
withstand that
to
over
withstand
and
this grit of the cement or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a groove though.
Yeah,
like
maybe water goes in the groove and the tip of the boat goes in there and shoots down. That might be what it is.
Don't seem like 25 years ago.
No,
no. No, brave men. Brave men.
They were that. You know,
A lot of people wouldn't have gone that night, I know.
Well.
When the Maroons were heard, all the crew stopped what they were doing and rushed to the lifeboat station. One of those was 33-year-old Barry Torrey, a fisherman who was married with 2 young sons.
Barry was just crew member. I'd been on there a long time. Not sure how old he was when he first went, but just a teenager, I think.
Wow.
It's just part of his life, part of his upbringing, just always been at sea. We'd planned to go out and we had a babysitter organised. Then the shout went out that they were going. Barry went and said, "I'll see you later." Then I was kind of trying to decide, well, shall I just wait here or shall I, go out because we were meeting some friends. So I went out with these friends and we were only in the village. He knew where I was and just sort of waited.
More than a dozen men responded to the call, but only 8 were needed.
Trevelyan chose the best crew he had for that job, the ones he knew could do that job, the ones he could trust, or not trust, the best hands he had, the best crewmen he had for that job.
He wanted his most experienced crew that night because it was a hellish night. Really, he knew it was going to be tough.
Trevelyan took Barry Torrey, Kevin Smith, Nigel Brockman, and the lifeboat mechanic, Stephen Madron. He also chose Charlie Greenough, the landlord of the local pub, John Blewett, and the 22-year-old Gary Wallace. The 8 were selected for their skill and experience, but none could have predicted the outcome of that terrible night.
The crew were all there, all dressed, which was really, unusual for us because lifeboat men dressed for the occasion, but everybody was dressed properly that night.
I always remember Trevelyan helping Barry Torrey with his life jacket because Barry didn't like wearing life jackets and he wouldn't wear one as a rule, but that night he had to put one on and Trevelyan had to show him and help him on with it,
He didn't know how to put a life jacket on.
All the crew were around the stern of the
Was that the
lifeboat.
guy who started when he was really young?
When they lunched.
No, this is,
No, that's the husband.
He was young too.
That's the
but-
husband of that woman we were just seeing.
Yeah, with the two
They
young
had 2 young kids.
Wow, this is already heartbreaking. I know. I can just feel where this is going, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
And that night, Trevelyan got them all inside because it was such a bad night, with the sea and the spray breaking all right over the lifeboat after they put the mast up because the exhaust went up the mast, and you had to put the mast up to, before you start the engines up.
At only 17, Neil was too young. But Trevelyan was also keen not to take two members of the same family.
Oh, okay. I was wondering about that.
Absolutely gutted because I never went. I was
That's
upset
what
because I wasn't
was
asked to go. And I got to say, the boat was launched. I've never seen a piece of seamanship like that. To get that boat, people don't realise what the weather was like that night. To get that boat in the water was some piece of seamanship.
Yeah, because the sea is fighting you the whole way.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. You know, I can even imagine like the how hard that would be, because like as simple as trying to get a jet ski into waves, you know, which we've done, is very difficult. I can only imagine like an actual big boat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have no experience
and
with that.
waves that size.
Right. I've never driven a boat in the ocean. I've only done that on a lake.
Penlee Lifeboat launching.
She went down, the sea hit the bottom of the slip, and she went down behind the next one and was gone.
A 47-foot boat is about the size of a decent yacht nowadays, and as soon as they went down the slip, they were in very rough seas, and they would have been completely awash. The decks would have been awash.
Oh.
And even the after cabin water used to slosh around in it because of its self-draining situation. So life on board, even without going on deck, would have been quite horrendous.
You'd have breaking seas breaking over the boat. The boat would be rolling all the time, pitching, forward, back, up and down, like being like being in a washing machine, I suppose is the best way to describe it. The Solomon Brown, you had to physically drive around. You had to like work the engines, spin the wheels. It'd been very hard to control that boat.
As Trevelyan confirmed that the lifeboat had set off, the helicopter was already on the scene.
Union Star, rescuing 0. Yes, receiving loud and clear.
The ocean was very confused and getting worse. And the casualty was on scene, bouncing significantly, rolling in the sea.
Rescuing 0, request you leave all lights on that you're able to, over. Yes, we've just managed to get a generator started, so we'll put some lights on for you and see how it goes, over.
Well, they only had their navigation lights when they first came on scene. And we were attempting to effect a rescue at that point, and then he put his anchor out and turned bow into the sea, and we asked him at that point, would he mind putting on his turn on some more lights so we could see the boat better and position ourselves better and such. Because it was black night, we couldn't see a thing and couldn't see where the boat was moving very much. And so he turned on all his floodlights. We asked the crew if they wanted to come off, and initially they were sorting out, trying to start the engines. And then from that point, as the weather was worsening and they were drifting toward the coast, and we were trying to get their attention that was happening fairly quickly, they then decided to remove the woman and 2 children. And that was
there
our
were
first
women and children
surprise
on there
with
as well.
There was a woman and 2 children on board.
Oh my goodness.
How many people do you plan on transferring? 1 woman and 2 children, over. Sorry, say again. 1 woman and 2 children, over. Sorry, say again. 1 woman and 2 children. The crew will remain aboard until the last, over. Yeah, confirm 1 woman and 2 children. Yes, that's correct.
The woman was Morton's wife, Dawn.
Wait.
The children were his stepdaughters.
Oh, wow.
He'd picked them up en route so that they'd be together for Christmas.
Oh, man.
Dawn's children came over from South Africa, and they were going to stay in England, and that's why the reason why the girls were on board.
I think it possibly had an effect on the thinking of the captain, certainly, because he would obviously have this emotional issue to deal with.
Yeah.
It's bad enough just having to look after the crew, let alone your wife and 2 young girls.
How hysterical
who've probably
they
never been on a ship
were.
before.
I mean,
it'd be hard.
Probably only been a couple of days on board the ship. They may have been seasick during the passage. So it would have been very difficult. And another thing that I don't think is very well known, that Dawn was actually pregnant.
Oh, wow.
So,
Union Star, Rescue 80. We have a bit of sorting out on this rope before we're ready. Yeah, all understood. We'll be standing by here. Be at least another 5-6 minutes. Yep, okay, all understood. Thank you.
The wind was now freshening, probably at least 60 mile an hour, probably more. The waves at that point were about 50-foot seas, and it was getting more difficult. There were times we had to rapidly change our position because the ship was coming up and higher than we expected, and there were a couple of times that came very close to our rotors.
What?
Holy!
If that happened, it would break the rotors, we wouldn't be here.
Did I hear that right? They say in the boat they're trying to, the ship that they were trying to rescue people from, it almost hit their helicopter.
Yeah. I mean, granted, the helicopter was probably a lot lower than normal, but still,
But nonetheless, I'm
that
sitting there
just
thinking,
shows how high the waves were.
because obviously they're not trying to get right on them. They're trying to stay
right.
quite a bit above the ship, and that ship is getting on these waves and constantly rising. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember they said earlier that it was 60-foot waves at some point out there.
And he said at this point it was 50, so...
Oh my goodness. Wow. Like, I really have no way to really understand what that would feel like or look like when you're actually on the ship.
Just terrifying.
Terrifying. Like you're like down, and then you look at like a building of a wave in front of you that you're constantly going up and down on.
Or getting smashed with.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
And so we had to adjust it a number of times because the ship would suddenly pitch much more violently than was expected.
Union Star, this is Rescue 80. How do you read? Rescue 80, yes, loud and clear.
We tried lowering the crewmen. The ship was sideways to the waves and such, in a confused sea, and it was rolling significantly and pitching, and it was difficult getting our crewmen down.
The wind has got to be horrible for the helicopter too, though.
Was on the deck that I was trying to get to. I'm at this stage not in communication with the aircraft. I'm at in their hands, and they're trying to put me onto that deck. And I do recall how very clean and new the green painted deck looked.
Yeah, maiden voyage. I forgot about that. Yeah.
And I remember focusing on this piece of green deck, and they brought the First Lady out, and one of the men was effectively holding her against the bulkhead, standing on this deck, and I was focused on the deck, and she'd got these bright pink court shoes on. I couldn't tell you anything else about her, but looking at that piece of deck where I was aiming, this is an enduring memory of these bright pink court shoes, which was so incongruous in that violent situation.
Roger, Union Star, this is looking too difficult for Rescue 80 as far as safety is concerned. We're getting very close to your mast, and we don't have a long enough high line.
The dreadful conditions had made a helicopter rescue too dangerous.
Oh no.
The Union Star was less than a mile from the shore,
Oh no.
and her fate now rested on the efforts of Trevelyan and his crew.
Union Star, Penlee Lifeboat, how'd you read, over? The Penlee Lifeboat, Union Star, yes, loud and clear, over. Do you want us to come alongside and take the women and children, over? Yes, please, yeah, if so that the helicopter's having a bit of difficulty getting to us, so if you could pop out and get the women and the 2 children and the woman off, I'll be very much obliged, over.
it's like the old saying that women and children first, but I think it still holds now. I think you would go for women and children first, and it would make a difference. Although you're there to save any life is precious. That's what we do for a living. We save lives. If we think we can save someone, we'll save someone.
We've got 4 shackles of cable out. We've already lost 1 anchor. We've got 4 shackles of cable out trying to hold our position. Roger.
With the helicopter standing by, the Penlee lifeboat fought to come alongside the Union Star.
Yes, special calling you. Drop. Yes, message from our coxswain that he advises you for everybody to come off. Over. Yes, we're all coming off.
When we pulled off to let the lifeboat go in, they were now pretty well into the shallows and into the very severe breaking seas. And we effectively sat and watched whilst they tried to effect that rescue.
You could see the Solomon Brown being bashed up against the side of the Union Star, and the crew standing on the rail and reaching out trying to grab the ship, throwing lines over like the grappling hooks to try and pull themselves alongside and steady themselves.
The anchor was down and the anchor was holding her, but the anchor wasn't holding her steady.
I don't think he really realized how quickly he was drifting toward the rocks.
Penrith lifeboat, rescue 80. I show it's 300 yards from the coast. The breakers are quite large out here, and the lifeboat is having trouble getting alongside.
The spray and the green water, as I would call it, were crashing up against the wheelhouse, and it was getting very difficult. And now we're looking at 60, maybe 70-foot waves.
Oh my goodness.
I can imagine how they probably felt on board, because I'm sure it was shaking the ship and violently, and the risk of coming outside would have been tremendous.
But the risk of not coming outside too, you're sure, like...
Yeah, it's not good,
not
obviously.
a good situation either way. But, like, imagine being in the helicopter, just having to watch.
Can't do anything.
Feeling so helpless
Yeah.
to the situation. Like, that would be horrifying as well.
And I think knowing there were little kids on the board is just...
makes it even worse.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. And the waves have gotten bigger, 60 to 70 foot now. Like, I can't even fathom what that's like. That's just monstrous.
A horrific situation.
Yeah, very much so.
Because you don't know when, in the dark sea, in the rain, when the next wave is coming.
As it eventually went right into the surf, then the Union Star did start to roll very seriously. I would think, in excess of 50 degrees. And at one stage, I did see the Solomon Brown, the lifeboat, literally alongside the Union Star, and as she rolled, the lifeboat came up on her side, so she was effectively out of the water.
Oh
gosh.
Penlee lifeboat, we're estimating 10 minutes before they hit the beach. Did you say 10 minutes for the beach, Thomas? About 10 minutes before they drift into the beach. We should go on that rapidly.
Oh my gosh.
The Solomon Brown came in bow to bow to the Union Star, and as it was in the rocks. And I thought, this is incredible. What's he doing in the rocks? There really wasn't much room to maneuver. And the wind was gusting so violently. It was like being between two big boxing bags, being thrashed about.
A local journalist made his way down to the cliffs overlooking the scene.
When I first arrived on the cliff, I could see the helicopter and I could see the Union Star being battered in the waves, and I could see the lifeboat. And it was from there that I watched the whole incident unfold.
Oh, gosh.
Union Star.
Right from the cliff.
Make attempt here to get alongside at the moment. Okay, skip, yep.
Trevelyan Richards, he was doing a superb job in absolutely atrocious conditions. The way he positioned and got himself over those very, very steep waves, in that sense almost slowing it over, because you don't go straight. And the way he was putting it was tremendous seamanship. And all of a sudden, there's a huge wave. I would think that the height of the wave was probably 50 to 60 feet high. The lifeboat crew obviously saw this. They went astern quite hard, and I could see that from the cliff. They very nearly got over the crest of the wave, but the crest of the wave picked the lifeboat up and dropped the lifeboat across the deck of the Union Star.
Oh.
Oh my God.
Wow. So the lifeboat, the Penlee lifeboat, is now on the deck of the ship they were trying to rescue the people from.
Probably not for long, but yeah. That's just...
That right there
shows how rough the dang water was.
Yeah, like that shows you what the waves must have been like. Oh my goodness.
And how unpredictable.
And they're already in the rocks, basically, during this.
Almost on the beach, yeah.
Wow. Man. Those poor kids. Poor everybody, but like...
It just seems like it was an unwinnable situation.
Yeah.
Like, it was just so out of control and unpredictable that, like, it wouldn't matter how good and skilled you are.
Right.
Like, it's just... Oh, it's awful.
Yeah, it is.
Solomon Brown went up onto the Union Star and was well off the water at that point.
Goodness.
And I thought they were all going to go over together at that point.
But after sliding off the deck of the Union Star, the lifeboat managed almost immediately to get back alongside.
Wow, goodness.
Really? That's crazy.
I think that just
in the dark, because it's very dark, you see shadows of people running out of the wheelhouse. And it appeared they were just jumping to the lifeboat. And the lifeboat crew is out with their arms out, to catch them. Several people, looked like about 5 to us, ran out and jumped across to the Solomon Brown.
They were wearing their bright fluorescent orange life jackets. So they were relatively easy to spot as they seemed to pass from one vessel to the other.
And then before the next breaker came in, they turned to seaward and in among all these rocks, and I don't see how they actually made a turn to get seaward, and this huge wave came in and they went underneath it and disappeared and surfaced on the other side, basically, like a submarine.
Oh my goodness.
And we assumed
amazing
at
ship.
that point that he was going to continue going out to sea and head home.
Coast Guard rescue right there. I'm going to have to haul off. We're dangerously close with our tail into the coast. Do you intend returning to the station, or are you going to stand off offshore, over? Well, I can't do much once they reach the cliff.
We broke it off at that point, and feeling that we had done all that we could do. And we assumed that the Solomon Brown had made the same decision. And we're going to, return to home.
But the crew of the Solomon Brown hadn't made the same decision.
Oh no.
They were about to make one final rescue attempt.
Oh no.
Coast Guard, this is a Penlee Lifeboat. I'm calling Farmer Coast Guard. Penlee Lifeboat, Farmer Coast Guard, go. We got 4 men off, hang on, we got 4 off at the moment. Male and female. There's 2 left on board. Penlee Lifeboat, Farmers Coast Guard, I understand you have 4 off, and you say there's 2 left on board, over? Penlee Lifeboat, Farmers Coast Guard, over?
It's a devastating feeling when you hear that call and the call and the call and nobody answers. It's just, it gives you that very, very hollow, sick feeling in your stomach.
Penlee Lifeboat, Farmers Coast Guard, over?
Unfortunately, on the way back, one of the first things the people asked when we arrived, as we're listening to people calling the Solomon Brown, They said, "Have you heard from Solomon Brown?" And you get that very terrible sinking feeling that something's gone wrong, terribly wrong.
Penlee Lifeboat, Falmouth Coast Guard, over. Send in lifeboat. Penlee Lifeboat, Falmouth Coast Guard, over.
So we refueled, rinsed the engines with fresh water to clean up as much of the salt as we could, and launched again.
Don Buckfield made his way to the scene with the coastal rescue team. They could see the Union Star on its side, just below the cliffs.
There was wreckage washing up and down with the waves, and I saw a life jacket with the light still working. And on reaching the top of the cliff again, we become aware that Falmouth was concerned for the lifeboat. And at that time I could almost definitely say that that was a lifeboat jacket in the water.
The discovery of the life jacket confirmed that the worst had happened. The Penlee Lifeboat and the Union Star had been wrecked.
A friend of mine who I'd been out with, a girlfriend, came knocking on the door. I don't even know what time it was, and said something bad's happened to the lifeboat. And I don't really think much registered after that. You know, I couldn't say anything specific because it was all just. I just remember lots of people all the time thinking, we should all be quiet. You wake the children up, you know. And I told them straight away, as soon as they woke up the next day, that their daddy wasn't coming home.
For Kevin's family, it was his brother who brought the devastating news.
I can remember him coming into his mother's front room. And I've never seen grief like it. There's no grief that can compare to a mother losing her child. And Pat was a very, very, very strong woman. And what an awful thing for anyone to have to do. It's like now I can see it's playing back in my head like a video. And the disbelief and the shock. It was just such a sad time.
In the end, only 8 bodies were recovered. 4 from the Solomon Brown and 4 from the Union Star.
You live and do your job and live to do it again. And when some of your own are taken, it hurts. It hurts deeply. You can't imagine the bravery of people like that. You know, it's just to put their life on the line. You know, they're the salt of the earth. You know, they're the fathers, the brothers, the sons, the sons of Mausel.
Things like Christmas Eve, we was burying Trevelyan in the morning, my father in the afternoon, and the Boxing Day we had more funerals. It was hard going.
Yeah. That'd be rough. You weren't allowed your own private grief. Everything you did was noticed. Everything you said was written. So it was very, very difficult. You just going out of the house was impossible.
The ashes of Dawn and one of her daughters were scattered out at sea, close to where the Union Star was wrecked. Dawn's other daughter and Henry Morton were never found.
My mother took it very badly. She couldn't really accept it, particularly with Mick's body not being found. I don't think she ever accepted it till the day she died, that he was actually lost. I think she believed he was suffering from amnesia and was wandering around the West Country somewhere.
Wow. That'd be really hard to have no closure.
I was thinking that would make it even more hard to not have a body.
Yeah.
To be able to lay to rest, to be able to have that closure.
Yeah.
But, I was just thinking during this segment of this just a moment ago, how this was not just the individual families that lost their family members, but most of these that were that went on the lifeboat to rescue, they were from the same community. This whole community lost.
It was a small community.
Right, and so this was devastating, not just for their families, but also this community
the heart
in general.
Of the community.
So many friends lost their friends, and it was just the heart of the community was ripped out in this disaster. Man.
It's awful.
Yeah.
And one day he would come back and knock on the door.
For the 25th anniversary of that tragic night, Russell Smith has come over from America to pay his respects.
My wife and I wanted to make a connection. And that's really the main reason we're back. Just to visit, say hello, say we care. And say we'll never forget.
Okay. Hello there.
I'm Russ.
You can't remember me.
Dudley?
Dan Dudley.
Yeah, Dudley.
And
Raymond?
Winchman at that time, Raymond Conway.
We've met before.
Yes,
sure we have.
Yes.
You'll never forget. Never, ever, ever. And, all my children now, I tell them about the story as well, so because it is something which should never be forgotten. The heroism and the bravery they did on that night should always be remembered.
Falmouth Coast Guard, Penlee Lifeboat.
Penlee Lifeboat, Falmouth Coast Guard, go ahead, over.
Falmouth Coast Guard, Penlee Lifeboat, for information, we're now leaving during...
The loss of the Solomon Brown didn't stop the people of Mousehole maintaining the lifeboat tradition. Today, the Penlee Lifeboat is based a couple of miles from Mousehole, in the fishing village of Newlyn. Neil Brockman, turned away by Trevelyan for being too young, is now the coxswain.
I was asked by the RNLI, to become coxswain, and to start with, I didn't want to do it because I thought I was too young. I was only 28 years old at the time, and I didn't think I was experienced enough or old enough to do the job. And they did beg me to, or really persistently asked me to do it, so I said I would. So I said I would take it for 12 months to see how I got on. I've been here ever since. So.
I've always thought Neil's the best man for the job anyway, because he's totally committed to his crew and the RNLI. I know he's a very good friend of mine, but I'll always stand by that. On a professional field, he's a hell of a coxswain.
I've done every job on the boat, crewman, right up from crew to mechanic, coxswain mechanic, now full-time coxswain with the mechanic. I mean, first I think I got the best team in the RNLI, the best crew, but then everyone would say that any station you go, but I am lucky I got a very experienced crew. Every one of my crew are seamen, or ex-fishermen, or they're all to do with the sea. So I'm lucky in that way.
His father would have been very proud of him, and he was very proud of his father, and so it was a sort of public thing, but also a private thing.
It's just such an honor to know that they're carrying on in the tradition of the Royal Lifeboat Institute. and that these people don't do it for money. They do it for the giving, the volunteer work that gives life to other people, really. Because they still go out on rescues and assist other people in very difficult conditions all the time.
"25 years later, the old lifeboat station is empty.
Wow.
Kept exactly as it was in 1981.
Wow.
It stands as a memorial to the crew of the Solomon Brown.
Aw.
I got no doubt in the back of my mind that if I'm on a shout on that lifeboat with 6 of my crew, there's 8 other crewmen with me. No doubt about that whatsoever. They'll never be forgotten. I'm just proud that I sailed them all. Knew them all personally.
My goodness.
Wow. Guys, this was pretty incredible, to say the least. Number one, this was a beautifully put together documentary about this topic, and, you know, really hit home, you know, how big of a disaster, how important these people were, how much of heroes they were. But I also want to say respect to the RNLI in general. You know, like I already knew they did an important job. They did important work as volunteers.
Right. That's the...
But you see something like this and it really hits home to, like, you know, just
how brave they
how
are.
brave they are, and just like they literally, these volunteers are willing to make the ultimate sacrifice to save other people. And it's just unfortunate that in this situation, everybody, both on the Penlee Lifeboat and the ship they were trying to rescue people from, no one made it out, right?
Yeah.
No one, because the helicopter was not actually able to. They were about to, but they weren't able to ultimately get anybody, and that's why ultimately the kids, the mom, and all the men. I don't remember how many men were on the ship. Was it 8? I mean, total was it 8?
I don't remember how many total on the Union Star, but on the
it was 8 on the
Lifeboat,
Penlee.
It was 8,
and I felt like it was 8 on the ship too, but I'm not 100% sure. But we're talking possibly 16 or 12 people at least, minimum of 12. We know that. Wow. I now understand why everybody for so long was asking to check this out.
Yeah.
This was very moving.
Oh, it was a hard watch.
It was a hard watch.
Heavy, but also inspiring.
Inspiring, very much so.
I mean, just, and the tenacity of the community to come back stronger from this and not let this tradition die with them.
I know.
You know, like that would be hard to continue on after that. And
and imagine the I can't remember his name, but he's now the coxsman for the son, and you know, imagine how that felt to you know,
lose your dad
and then continue
and
the
all
tradition
your
of your dad.
friends and crew members.
I think that's, you know, the community, like what they lost there was immense, you know, even on top of the families and everything. But guys, this was an incredible, moving documentary, but obviously this is getting fairly long at this point, so I think we'll let you go. Please let us know in the comments what you think we should check out next, whether it's from the RNLI or whether it's other disasters or
hopefully inspiring
stories. Really enjoy checking that type of thing out as well. But I think that's it for us today. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please click that like button. Feel free to drop your comments or suggestions about this video or others. And don't forget to subscribe to continue to follow us on our journey. Until next time, peace.
Bye.